Hey there guys, and welcome back to the Two Players Podcast, episode 36. We're going to be talking about the news, then we're going to get into games we've been playing, and then the big ol' E3 discussion that we're going to have from this year's E3, all of the announcements that happened. So let's just jump right into it. So the first piece of news is that there is a new Spider-Man cartoon. This was announced a while ago, but now we have a official sneak peek of it, and it does not look that great.
No, it looks pretty garbage. Like, I just want Spectacular Spider-Man, dude. We both know it ended in like a cliffhanger, and I just want it, dude. Like, why? Why can't I have it? Instead, we keep getting garbage. Wait, is this in Disney Channel? Yeah, it is. It's in Disney XD again, like that other Spider-Man one.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
See, the only good thing I could say about Ultimate Spider-Man was at least it looked good, you know? This one just looks super cheap and like bad.
Yeah.
Like, just no. just do Spider-Man good, dude. Like, hopefully Homecoming is good and the new game is good, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But, you know, in terms of show, Spider-Man's really just not doing so well.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Spider-Man's gotten the good cartoon treatment. So, I mean, like, Ultimate Spider-Man had, like, a small fan base, I would say. Like, there were some people that actually did enjoy it, but, you know. Like, the first season, I think, wasn't that bad. But, like, after that, it was like, all right, I don't know what they're doing anymore. Like, personally, just from, like, an outside perspective.
It shouldn't be that hard. just saying. Spider-Man should be one of the easier superheroes to do a show with. Like, come on. All right. So next we got the Pokemon Direct, which was okay, as in not that good. So what they showed was a Pokken Tournament DX, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, they had, like, Darkrai. They had, that grass starter, I forgot his name, Desui from Gen 7.
It sounds something like that.
Yeah, and Empoleon also, he's also in there. But basically, this is a Switch port of Pokken Tournament, which is to be expected. You know, a lot of these Wii U games are getting ported to the Switch because it could sell more, because the Wii U did not sell well at all, while the Switch is. So, I mean, it's good, but, you know, people weren't that excited. Then they showed Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which got people even more mad because a lot of people were expecting a Switch game right away after Sun and Moon. But it looks like that's going to be waiting a bit while we get these games to basically hold us off for this year, basically. And they didn't really show much. It just showed the two like box art legendaries with like armor on. And it didn't really explain too much. Like, it's not like a Pokemon Emerald where there's only one of them and it's like, you know, the ultimate Pokemon or whatever. Yeah. And it's not like Black and White 2 where it's like a sequel. I don't know what this is trying to be. So, yeah, that's a thing, and people aren't really too thrilled about it. And then they showed they are bringing Pokemon Gold and Silver to the Nintendo eShop, which is cool. But it's also like, I'd rather just play Heart Gold and Soul Silver because they're better.
Yeah.
Like, I love Gold and Silver, but, like, you know, who cares? So basically, it was not a very good Direct. A lot of people did not like this Direct. As you could tell from the video, it has like 4,000 dislikes. So a lot of people were pretty salty about it. What did you think about it?
I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. You know, it was pretty self-explanatory. Like, they just showed up, announced 3 new Pokemon games pretty quickly. The Pokken game, I think a lot of people were expecting, or even, you know, like a sequel. But you know what, a DX version's fine. That's scheduled for a September 22nd release date. And, you know, them just adding more characters and stuff like that, I think, is enough. And then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, that's a surprise, I think, to a lot of people. You know, they haven't done like what's it called, like a Pokemon where it's like a combination of the two, you know, legendaries, where it's like the best version, like, you know, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl or Platinum. They haven't done that in a long time. So I think they're moving away from that. They might go back to it. I'm not exactly sure. They could be doing that with the Switch game, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, we just don't know what they're doing. Maybe Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon's, you know, better, but maybe it doesn't have enough content. We just don't know enough details about it. And then the Gold and Silver ports onto the 3DS eShop, I think it's fine. You know, like, to those who want to go and play those games but not have to worry about the battery dying or anything like that. You know, they could just buy it on there and, you know, be safe with that. So, I mean, like, it's a directed at certain Pokemon fans, but not all of them, which is, you know, why there's a lot of dislikes on this video. But you know, I didn't think it was that bad, but it wasn't that good either. So
Yeah, I mean, it was also like a few days before E3, so I wasn't really expecting much.
yeah, same.
And granted, Pokemon didn't really announce anything. Well, they did announce something big, but they didn't really show anything big. You know what I mean? Which
Hmm.
we will get into when we talk about Nintendo. But I think it was fine. You know, they showed off some stuff. It's like this is what we're working on, and then moved on basically. So I think it's
Yeah.
fair. You know, we don't really know much about Ultra Sun and Moon yet, so it won't be too hard. I'm probably gonna buy it anyway because I really like Gen 7. So yeah, not much to say though.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if I'll buy it because, you know, I haven't bought a Pokemon game in a long, long time. I still need to get
So get
Omega.
Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon is
Yeah,
so good.
I still need to get Sun and Moon. Still need to do the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So I'm pretty far behind in terms of Pokemon stuff. So just gotta catch up one of these damn days. Next piece of news is that the Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 was announced. I believe it's containing Mega Man.
I think 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So it's including some of the much more harder games to find. I would say, you know, I believe 7 and 8 especially are pretty expensive.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
more
also
of
looks
7.
bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
8 isn't that bad, but
yeah, so like if you want to go play those on like a newer gen console, you can now. So I think Capcom's just doing this just to still see if there's interest for Mega Man, you know, because like I feel like if they were to make a new Mega Man game, they don't want it to flop instantly. So they're still doing like these collections to go and make sure that, you know, to I guess if people are still interested or not, you know, because like making these remakes or collections or whatever, it doesn't take that much resources from Capcom and doesn't take that much money, and
uh,
if they do
yeah, I
flop,
think
it's not gonna hinder them that much.
I think they're just doing it because it's like easy money, and it's like we didn't port it 7, 8, 9, 10 yet, like to this its own collection, so we can make more money. You know, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking how Capcom would think basically. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's cool because 9 and 10 are really good.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be like 20. I mean, which I guess is like how much it would both been anyway, because they're like $10 each. So,
Mhm.
and you get 2 other games, I guess, if you want to play 7 and 8. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I probably won't buy it because I already played 9 and 10. But it's cool that they're there.
Yeah. I'll look into it, but I'm not gonna buy it instantly.
Yeah, I think the first collection was the better deal, but
Yeah.
I also heard it like barely, like it was kind of bad. So the collection didn't really work too well in the first one. So I don't know. Capcom, yay. All right, so new Bubsy game. It's coming to PS4 and Steam. Why? Because why not? It doesn't look good. it looks really bad.
Yeah. I don't know if they're just like joking with us or something, but like when I heard of a new Bubsy game, like when I saw the artwork, I was like, this can't be that bad. And then, you know, just by looking at this, I guess teaser trailer, it actually looks pretty bad. Like I don't know what they were thinking by making this game. Like if they're making this as a joke, yeah, that's funny. But I'm not exactly sure if they're actually trying to make Bubsy a comeback game. I don't know. So
Yeah, it it does not look good. The animations are so stiff. It looks so slow. It just looks bad. Like I don't know
yeah.
what they're trying to do here. I don't
Hmm.
know, dude. Nah, let's not bring him back.
If Bubsy could come back, Spyro can eventually.
That's true.
So there's a new Dragon Ball Z Fighter game, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, I believe, and
Yes.
this got some time during the Xbox conference, but I guess we'll talk about it now. It actually looks pretty good. It's from the developers of the Guilty
Guilty
Gear,
Gear, right? Yeah.
so them doing a Dragon Ball Z fighting game, I think, is gonna be really, really good. You know, like this game definitely has a lot of potential, and I just cannot wait to go and see more of it because it just looks so goddamn good.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Like the way it plays, I saw some, E3 footage of it. It looks really fun to play, and just how it looks is very nice. Like I really like how it looks. And I'm glad that we're actually having a fighting game of
Hmm.
Dragon Ball Z, because Xenoverse and Xenoverse 2 are mostly like MMO-y type things, which
Yeah.
I don't mind. But it's nice to just have this sort of like Budokai thing again, since we didn't have a 2D fighter with Dragon Ball Z in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Like I really like, and it's actually by like a fighting game developer. Like they know what they're doing. So
Hmm.
that's really nice.
Yeah. it just looks visually pleasing too. So I just cannot wait to go and see more of this game in the future, especially as
Yeah.
you know, big Dragon Ball Z fans as we are.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks really good. All right, so Black Panther released a teaser trailer, and it looks pretty good.
Hmm.
You know, it's mostly the basic like Marvel stuff. It's like, hey, this is like villain talking, and then we got like, look at all the crazy stuff happening, but then it ends. But it looks good. Like, you know, it looks like what I expected from a Black Panther movie. And I don't think there's no release date. It just says coming soon. So I
uh,
actually don't know what's Marvel even doing. Like we got Homecoming coming in
I believe
July.
Black Panther is slated for later this year. I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, because I
I
don't
think it's
really know
like
them.
a November or something like that. I
It
forget
might be in
exactly.
November.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited to go and see this Black Panther movie, especially with his intro in Civil War. I think it was a pretty good introduction to the character, but now we get a full movie for his own, you know, spotlight and flesh him out a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. You know, I was very interested in Black Panther and Civil War. I think he did a good job in that movie, and they really made him out to be like a really cool like hero
Uh-huh.
and just like and stuff. So I'm really excited to see what he could get into by himself and what villains he will face. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I do like Black Panther. I think they could
Yeah.
do some cool stuff with him.
Uh-huh. All right, so now we'll get into the games we've been playing recently. So I'll start first because I know I haven't been playing that much. Friday the 13th, played that a little bit more. I got to play Jason a couple times.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah. So Jason, he's kind of broken, but at the same time there are ways to work around him.
Mhm.
So Jason, he's very well. The Jason that I'm playing, he is very like when he gets stunned, he will be stunned for a while, so he's vulnerable to that. But like the abilities that he gains throughout the game, like he doesn't have them all right away, but he can teleport across the map. He can turn invisible and chase after someone. I forget what the other two do, but those are like the main ones that help you kill people. So yeah, like Jason's sort of overpowered if like people aren't working together and people are just like by themselves doing their own thing, you know, like, and obviously RNG, like there was this one time when I was playing with Louis and we found the car battery but we found no gas, and then we found a second car battery and still no gas, and then we just died, so we couldn't we couldn't drive out, and I was like, well, that's just RNG, or someone found it and didn't tell us. So
Probably that.
yeah, so like there's a lot of communication that the counselors need to do, and if you don't do that, you're just gonna fail. um but yeah, that game's still fun. And then I've been playing some Mario Kart 8. I've just been doing the single player. So like I just finished 150cc. I got all 3 stars on all of the cups. Now I'm working on the 150cc mirrored, which shouldn't be that hard. But yeah, like I would just get like screwed over on like the last lap by like a blue shell and then a red shell and then like the random green shell out of nowhere. So,
That's
but
how it always is.
you know, Mario Kart's Mario Kart. So, and then the last thing I've been playing the most is League, and I've been like D480 something LP for a while. Like I would hit promos and then I would just fail them for some reason. Whether it's my play or someone else's play, you know, it's literally whatever. So hopefully I could get past that and, you know, get promoted eventually. But I definitely need to work on Unraveled and Firewatch before Crash comes out, which is next week. So
Jesus.
yeah, I honestly cannot believe that game's coming out, you know, next week, honestly. So,
Yeah, I forgot about it.
yeah. Or is it like 2 weeks from now? Yeah, 2 weeks from now, actually. So, yeah, cannot wait for that game to come out. So I just have to work on Firewatch and Unravel, then I'll be done with the summer backlog for now, and then Crash will come out. So what have you been playing, Damian?
Right, so I played a crap ton of Final Fantasy 14 because I need to catch up to where the story ended. So I did all the story missions. It took like a while. Then I did all the raids and then I did all the dungeons for that expansion. So now today the next expansion came out, but you know the server issues because that's like normal day one MMO stuff. So I basically like can't play it today. I played a little bit in the morning, but then it's a lot of problems. But that game is great. I love it. I can't wait to play Red Mage when I can play the game because Black Mage sucks, and I'm glad I can move and shoot abilities again. That'll be nice. But besides that, I've been playing Persona 5. Also, almost done with that game. I'm like 70 hours in at this point, and I think I'm almost done. I think I need like 3 more dungeons to do, and then I'm done with the game. It's still fantastic. Like the game just doesn't get old. The only reason I stopped playing is because I was playing Final Fantasy. So yeah, that Persona 5 again is probably like, I wouldn't say my game of the year, but it's like, I think Zelda's still my game of the year. But it's really close. It's like extremely close.
So it's like top 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it's like top 2. It's so good. But Zelda is just like on another level, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. Like mostly those two. I've been playing a shit ton of Final Fantasy. Like I had like 60, like no, I had like 70 hours in 2 weeks. It was unhealthy amounts of hours I had in that. But and it's gonna be a lot more once I actually play the expansion. So yeah, that's about all I've been playing.
Alright, so now let's begin the E3 discussion of this year. I don't think this year was full of surprises like last year was, honestly. Yeah, like last year, I think it was mainly from Sony that just came out with all of these surprises like God of War, Spider-Man, you know. But this year, it's mainly been about like updating games. Like obviously there were new games announced, but you know, not that many. So I guess we'll start in order from the press conferences. So we'll start with EA. So the only game that really caught my eye was A Way Out, which is from the people who did Brothers. And the way that the game works is that you have to play with someone else. And I watched the PlayStation video that they did. Like they did like a interview with one of the developers who's like the director. He also plays like a stunt devil within the game itself too. Like he's very involved with this game, and he's also very passionate about it. And that is what I like about him. Like he's so passionate about this game. Like from the start, he said that this game was going to be cooperative, no matter what. You couldn't play it with, you couldn't play by yourself. And like he said, even if someone gave him 20 mil, like he would not do it. Like that is his vision, and that's how he wants it. So I respect that. You know, I appreciate that. So and like there's not that many like co-op games that are like pretty good nowadays. So like
yeah.
This game looks like it's going to be really good. And also, it doesn't just take place in a prison. He said that there's going to be so much more outside of it, like after you get out. So I just cannot not wait for this game. Like it just looks so good. And I'm just, you know, deciding on who exactly I'll play with. Maybe I'll play it with you. Maybe I'll play with someone else, you know. Or maybe I'll just play it multiple times. So, yeah, I'm just very excited for this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like Kyo said, the game is going to be online, but it's still going to be split screen because that's just how the game works. And it's interesting to see gameplay is because if one character is having more action, like the screen like shifts to show more more of the screen for the player that's doing the action, while the player just doing like walking or something gets less of the screen. And it just dynamically changes like that, which I think is pretty cool. It's like a cool little artistic way to like do split screen and stuff. It's very weird, but I do like it. It looks nice too. The game looks great, and it just looks, it's just very interesting. Like you're right. We don't really get a lot of co-op games anymore. Yeah. Like especially like super story-based ones. Like the last one I could think of is like Portal 2 or something, I guess. Like even that wasn't really more.
He even made a comparison with Portal 2. Like you can't get through the game by yourself in Portal 2 if you're playing the co-op anyways. So like he made that comparison with his own game, you know, like you can't get through certain parts of the game without their partner. And also he wants people to play it on the couch. He doesn't want people to play it online necessarily, but you know, he obviously put that in the game because, you know, if he only made it local, it wouldn't sell as well. So by him obviously. So like his vision is that, you know, it is a split screen game, which is, you know, a go, and then he would like people to play it next to each other, because he said that there's going to be like crucial decisions that you two will be making together. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it looks great. Like I think the game is very nice, and since Brothers was such a really good co-op game, I'm pretty sure this one would be just, you know, better in a larger scale. So, you know, I'm happy for him. He looks like he's very passionate about it. Yeah. And I'll probably check it out like when it comes out in like early 2018. Most of these games are coming out like 2018, so and like you know, later in 2017. So besides that, EA, you know, sports, Need for Speed, whatever stuff we're not too interested in. Yeah. But then they showed more gameplay of Battlefront 2, and it looks a little better. It still looks a lot like Battlefront 1. you know, the new Battlefront one that EA made, and we all know how that did well. You know, it didn't do that well.
Had a $50
And
paywall on top of the $50 paywall.
yeah, luckily they did say the game is going to be game free, like DLC and stuff, just like Titanfall 2, or I guess you could say Splatoon also, where the game just gets free updates. And I don't think they said it's not going to be a season pass, but there is going to be some other form of microtransaction in the game, which is probably going to be like loot boxes or something.
Yeah, probably like
since
crates.
games love that.
Yeah, probably like crates or cards or something like that. So.
Yeah, but in terms of like maps and stuff, that's all going to be free, and like heroes and stuff. So that's cool. I do like that. And the game also introduces like the other eras of the Star Wars universe. Like instead of just being stormtroopers and rebels, you can also play as clone troopers and droids, which is cool. Because even though the prequels weren't that good, I really did like droids and clone troopers, so that's cool.
Yeah.
In terms of gameplay, again, it looks very similar. Like they did some cool things where you have classes now, like the original games, which is cool. And you could play those other advanced classes by getting something called battle points, which is just how well you do in a game, which is how it worked in the original one. So I'm glad that they're taking more stuff from the original games into this one because that's what made the original one so fun. And instead of like finding this stupid like hero token where you become like Darth Vader or something and start killing everyone, you actually have to be doing well to be playing as the heroes. And that's how it works in the original one. And it worked because it was like balanced that way. So I'm glad that they are taking stuff from those games, and they're also like doing like space battles and stuff. Those are also going to be in this game too. So I'm glad they're adding a lot of new content in it, because the first one, also a campaign, which they didn't really show, which is weird because that's like the main selling point. They're really hammering on it, but they didn't show anything of it, which is weird. But I do like that they are adding all this content. Is it going to be worth 60? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I'm still gonna like I went from being super cynical about this game to being sort of like, okay, I guess I'll wait. I'm still probably not gonna buy it because it's still probably not gonna be the great, but I have a lot more faith in it, and I think a lot of people also have more faith in it now. But again, just don't pre-order it or anything stupid like that. Just wait.
Yeah.
I'm sure EA will mess it up somehow.
Yeah, it's EA, and then on top of that, you know, the first game, how they handled it was a little sketchy. So like this game, it's coming out so soon, and they didn't show as much as they probably should have during the C3. So
yeah,
hopefully later down the line before it releases, they show us more. They probably won't, honestly, but you know, hopefully that they give us more details on the story and stuff like that. So I've never been a Battlefront guy, but you know, maybe this game could change my mind. So
yeah. All right, then we'll move on to Microsoft.
Hell yeah, let's get on to Microsoft.
All
so
right.
I think Microsoft, in my opinion, had one of the better conferences.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, like, Nintendo just came out with surprises, but, you know, it's like,
yeah, I mean,
in terms of like,
just like games.
Yeah, just like conferences, like in general, not having like the Nintendo spotlight or whatever, you know, I think Microsoft did a much better job than Sony this year. So first game that really caught my eye was Metro Exodus.
Yes.
I've never been a Metro guy, but just by looking at this gameplay presentation, it looked pretty good, you know, like graphics and how the character was moving and stuff like that. Like, I might, you know, look into it more when, you know, details do come out about it, but, you know, it just has a 2018 release date and not as much detail as I would want from it, you know, like, I don't know much about it.
Yeah, the only problem I had with the gameplay, it looked beautiful, but it was obviously scripted to hell. Like, all that was like scripted gameplay, which is like, you know, whatever. I expect that from E3 trailers, but, you know, still is like pretty heavily scripted. But, you know, if it's anything to go by the other two Metro games, I'm pretty sure it'd be, you know, well done. As Sony played them, they're pretty cheap on Steam sales, like probably like $10 for both of them at this point. So, you know, if you want to play on PC anyway, you could just buy it off a Steam sale. But I do think the game looks good.
Yeah.
Not much to say because it didn't really show that much, but it's pretty cool to see another Metro game. That series is actually like doing well, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I think next to show Assassin's Creed was Assassin's Creed the next one. I think.
Something like that. I tried my best to put these games in order, but
we got to check the order if you want, because I could just check on the games subreddit. But I'm just gonna talk about Assassin's Creed right now, because Assassin's Creed actually did look pretty good. Like I don't really play Assassin's Creed games, so I can't really say if it changed a whole lot. but I could say the game looks very pretty. I really like the Egypt sort of like aesthetic to it. I think that looks really cool, but besides that, I can't really comment on how similar it is to other Assassin's Creed games because again, I don't really play Assassin's Creed, so I don't really know. But I do like the sort of combat looks pretty fun. Like it looks like it reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild. Like even the whole like jumping slow down time with the arrow thing. I'm like, oh, that's Breath of the Wild. The combat looks very Breath of the Wild from what I've seen, and yeah, I just looked very Breath of the Wild. But you can also do this cool thing where you like send your hawk to like scout things out, which is kind of cool. I'm pretty sure there's still going to be towers in the game, obviously, because it's Ubisoft. But the bird thing is pretty cool. I like that. I'm probably not going to get it because it's like I don't really care that much, but I do think it looks cool. Well, what do you think about the new Assassin's Creed?
I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen a Assassin's Creed at E3, so I'm glad that they took that break, and them showing it at this Microsoft conference I think was a good idea. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins, it looks a lot better than the previous Assassin's Creed. Like, it looks like they actually took time and effort to, like, you know, think about this and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it'll definitely be a lot better than the previous Assassin's Creed. We'll just have to wait. It's slated for a October 27th release date, so it's pretty soon. So hopefully the game does end up being as well as it looked on stage. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I just hope it's good because they spent like, you know, they skip a year just to make this game. So hopefully it does well. You know, hopefully it's like a Black Flag where the game is just like really good and everyone just agrees that, yeah, this is a really good game and Assassin's Creed isn't dead. So, but we just gotta wait basically until it comes out. They are having like an $800 like special edition, which is stupid. I don't understand why.
It's actually $800. What the hell?
I think something like that. Hold on, let me check. It's like it's super expensive. That's all I know. I'm like, why is that a thing? What's called Origins?
I mean, I'm looking it up right now too. So, Assassin's Creed Origins will have 6 special editions. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Up to 6.
And I know one of them is absurd. Yeah, it is $800.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Oh, whoops.
Like, I don't get it, but sure.
Yeah. All right. So you got the pre-order bonus. You got the deluxe edition. You got the gold edition. Got the what the hell? That's a little crazy.
It's a little much.
If you buy that, props to you, but Jesus Christ, I would never spend that much money on a single game unless I'm like that passionate about it, you know. So
yeah.
But you know, Assassin's Creed looks good. Next game, they
actually I did find a list of what they did show. So like next is Players Unknown Battlegrounds, just whatever. We don't really play that. State of Decay 2, which is just like meh. Next, they talk about the Darwin Project, which I think you do have here. Yeah. So you want to talk about the Darwin Project?
It looked interesting. I'll say that.
I think the game was way too in an early state to show.
Yeah,
because that game looked rough.
The animations of the guy running that we saw looked pretty choppy. I mean, like the what's it called? The shoutcaster was like a nice touch.
Oh yeah.
But
it's really good.
But you know, the game itself, it looked like a lot of other games that we've already seen with that same art style, and the way I saw this game was as like a player unknown battleground sort of game where it's like free for all, but like everyone has like special abilities, which I'm kind of concerned about because some could be overpowered and some can't be. You know, some could be underpowered. So yeah. I don't know. I'm just concerned about that aspect of the game, but hopefully next time we see it, it looks a lot better because we don't know when it's going to come out. Most likely 2018. So yeah.
All right. So next we talk about the Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which we already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Last Light, which is I think we have here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Last Light is a very interesting looking game. We don't really know much about the gameplay. I think the dude talked about a little bit in the PC gaming show where he says it's going to be like a platformer, I think, or something like that, over a couple of nights. But during this Xbox press conference, we just saw the trailer and the aesthetic for the game, which is very pretty. It's like this retro, like the characters are like pixel art, but the rest of the world is like 3D looking graphics. It's very interesting. Like I really like how it looks.
Yeah, that's the main aspect that attracted to me the game the most, because like it just looked so different from a lot of the other indie games that we've saw previously. So I just want to see more of it, honestly. So
Yeah, not much to show besides, the one trailer to show, which didn't show much gameplay. But again, the aesthetic for the game is super nice. Like I was like, whoa, hold up, this looks really good. So yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on that one. Next is Sea of Thieves, which is just okay. I think the more the show of that game, the more I just become unsure about
yeah,
it.
I'm just like,
So
that game's been in development for how long now? Like,
for a while, it's been in like 2 E3s by now, I think.
yeah.
Like last year and the year before that, so it's been a bit. So
Hmm.
yeah, I still don't know about the game. It still looks in a very early state, and it's like been like a few years, so I don't know.
It's been a
Next up,
long,
Black
long
Desert.
time. So
Yeah, Black Desert Online, which is coming to consoles, which I have no idea how that's gonna run on consoles, but whatever. And then Cuphead, it's finally coming out.
yeah,
About time.
they literally just showed some gameplay and then it was like, it's coming out on September 29th. So
Yeah, it was like
um,
1 second of a trailer, but it was enough to make me excited because it's like, hey, it's a release date and it's gonna be on Steam, which is weird.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
it's actually going to be on Steam and not only on Xbox, whatever marketplace. So I'm very glad that they decided to put it on Steam, because I think that'll definitely push more units. So
Yeah. Next, they did show Crackdown 3 with Terry Crews in it.
hmm
He's just there promoting the game.
hmm
I think Crackdown 3, again, it looks a lot similar to Crackdown 1 and 2. But those games are fun, they are fun to play, just to mess around with.
hmm
The only problem I think the game's going to face now is that we live in a world where Saints Row exists now, and that game is very similar, especially 4, is very similar to Crackdown, so I don't know how they're going to like make them different enough. I guess Crackdown is a lot more sci-fi-y, so
hmm
I guess we'll see. But Crackdown never really had the reputation of being like super good on its own. It always had something else to really help it, like 2 with the Halo 3 beta and stuff. So I don't know how well this Crackdown 3 is going to do, but I think it might do well. What do you think about it?
I mean, Crackdown 3, they didn't give us much, like some gameplay bits here and there, but, like you said, in a world where Saints Row exists and where it's all wacky and stuff, and now Crackdown, it might be a much more serious tone, but, they had Terry Crews
Nah,
there, so,
it's
yeah.
not.
So,
I,
yeah, I mean, they have a release date for it, November 7th, so they're probably almost done with it, so, but yeah, I should probably just look more into it and see for myself, but just from the Microsoft presentation, I'm still kind of just like, I don't know, so.
yeah. Next, the show is Super Lucky's Tale. So you want to talk about Super Lucky's Tale
Hell
first?
yeah, man. Alright,
All right.
so everyone else was trashing this game. I think this game's going to be great.
I I think, look, I'm glad 3D platformers are like making a comeback, even though the two game, like the game that the games that came out weren't that great. Um, I think this game is just like super generic, and I hate it. Like it just, I'm sure it'll be fine for like a 5-year-old, but like in terms of actual game, it just does not appeal to me at all. Like we got other games coming out, like I had in time, Psychonauts 2 and Mario Odyssey. Those games all look great, but this game, I don't know. I think it's too generic looking and too safe. I think they should have like done more. I was just waiting for this game to take a dark turn or something. Like, what is this? Like, it's gonna be like Conquer, right? Are we gonna go like super weird
Nope.
about it? But nah, it's just play it straight. It was just like a super nice, pleasant platformer, and I'm like, I guess we need more of those, but it just seems so generic. I don't know. I don't know about it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it as like, a platformer junkie that hasn't played one in years, but um, Super Real Lucky's Tale, I'm very optimistic about it. I think it'll be at least a decent game, maybe like a 6 out of 10 or something like that. So, but yeah, it could definitely be like a gateway for children into like platformers and stuff. So that's why I'm looking at it with a very positive outlook, I guess.
Yeah, but it's like you don't need to make it so like kid
Oh yeah,
friendly.
it's
Like
so just like generic, I guess.
I mean, we play like Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jack and Daxter. At least for me, like and like those games aren't exactly like super like bad mode.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, it looks fine. I'm sure it'd just be like a 6 out of 10, like you said, but still. Next, the show Life is Strange Before the Storm, and I'm super excited. The game is going to be a prequel before the events
Wait,
of it. Oh, yeah, what's up?
did you know that the game's actually not being developed by the main studio?
Yes, I do know that. The game is actually not being developed by the main studio, and the voice actor for Chloe, or voice actress for Chloe, is not going to be voicing Chloe because of the voice acting strike, so she's going to be writing for the game instead, which is both, both of those are pretty concerning. But I did see some gameplay of the game, and the new voice actress for Chloe, which is the main character of this game now, sounds pretty close to what she sounded like, so that's good. And from the stuff I've seen, they're using the same engine like the first game, which is pretty fine. The engine for the first game was well done, better than any Telltale game, I'll tell you that. But it still looks good. Hopefully it's only 3 episodes, so hopefully they don't mess up. And I just want it to be good. I feel like the game needed some backstory between Chloe and Rachel, which is a whole plot thread in that game. So hopefully they could resolve that and give us some more backstory. I can't really say much without spoiling things, but
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the game looks. Hopefully the game's good. I'm gonna be waiting to come out August, like the end of August, like August 29th, I think.
August 31st.
August 31st, yeah. All right, so that's when the first episode comes out. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm pretty optimistic about it, but we just gotta wait and see because again, it is made by a different developer. So hopefully that doesn't hurt it too bad. But I'm still pretty excited. All right, so next they showed Ori and the Will of the Wisp. They didn't really show much gameplay, but they did show a really sad trailer.
Oh yeah, that trailer was super duper depressing.
Just like the original Ori, with the beginning of that game was very depressing, and I am super excited. The game looks beautiful, man. Like the original Ori looks a lot like Dust, except like a little more polished.
Mm-hmm.
This game just looks straight up fantastic. Like it looks beautiful. Like I cannot wait for this game. And from the music from that trailer, if that's anything to judge it by, I'm pretty sure the music's also going to be fantastic. So I cannot wait for that game. It looks great. But they didn't really show much else. So, but if it plays anything like the original Ori, I'm fine with that. So next they showed some other stuff like the new Shadow of War, like the Middle Earth game for Mordor and stuff. And that game also looks good. I never played the Shadows of Mordor, but. Same. From that trailer, it was pretty funny and pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, to show like 4K Minecraft, blah blah blah. but then something EA teased was Anthem, which is BioWare's new game, and that game looks like a mix of Destiny and The Division, but BioWare's making it.
It looks super generic to me.
Yeah, it's sort of like their answer to Destiny, and they want to have competition with it. But I don't know. Like the game just does not like Destiny interests me a lot more than Anthem does because I feel like Anthem's world just feels super generic. Like Destiny, I could be like, okay, that's sort of interesting. I could get down with that. But Anthem, it's just like, yeah, you have a cool mech suit, which is cool. But besides that, you're just shooting dudes in a forest, and I'm like, all right. And that fake gamer talk that I hate, like I hate that so much.
When people try to talk to each other on voice chat, but they're actually just scripting it. So
yeah, and I'm like, I hate that so much.
Same.
But yeah. Besides that, it's just like the facial animations look beautiful. Like the game looks really nice, but in terms of gameplay, it just looks pretty generic. Like you're just shooting dudes with a jet, with some suit, and that's cool. But it's like I don't know, dude.
So, it sort of lacks substance, you'll say.
Yeah, like, it just looks like every other loot and shoot game, which I guess I'm okay with, but, like, not really. Like, you just expect more from BioWare, This is, like, the A-Team's game. But we just gotta wait and see. Because after Andromeda, even though that was made by that B-Team studio, people don't really have a lot of goodwill with BioWare at the moment. Same thing, because the third Mass Effect also didn't have a great ending. So, and Dragon Age Inquisition wasn't that great either. So, BioWare has to get some goodwill, and I don't know if this game's going to do it. So, we just got to wait, basically. And that was basically the big banger, which wasn't really that big of a banger. So, I mean, Microsoft was good. They did show a lot of games I was pretty interested in, but it wasn't really a lot that was exclusive to Xbox. They also showed the Xbox One X, which is just like whatever. I really couldn't care less about it. So yeah, it's basically the Xbox or the PS Pro of the Xbox, basically, except
but
more
the most powerful console ever.
Yeah, 4K. It's like all right,
4K.
We understand. All
All
right.
right.
So next is Ubisoft. So
Yes, let's get into Ubisoft. All right. So the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle got confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
It's slated for August 29th release date, and it actually looks pretty good.
It does look good. It's XCOM with Mario. As soon as I saw the gameplay, I just shouted, "This is XCOM with Mario and Rabbids." And I really wanted to hate this game, but the more of gameplay I see, the more I'm okay with it, and the more it looks really good. And I hate myself for liking it, but it looks really good, and a lot of people are having the same sentiments as I am. And the game just looks good for no
Yeah.
reason. Like there's no reason it should have this gameplay, or why it should be like this, but it is. The game looks nice. It looks like it runs well, and the gameplay just looks fun. It's just XCOM with Mario. It's
Yeah.
weird, but I'm okay with it. And
It's
yeah,
definitely a weird combination, and like they've been working on this game for several years now.
yeah,
So,
they've been working on it for a while. Yeah.
so and like all of the developers are so proud of this game because they got to work on a Mario title, you know.
Yeah.
So, um, I just can't wait for this game to come out. It'll probably received probably high praise for it just based on the gameplay we've seen thus far. Like it looks good. So, just can't wait for it to come out on August 29th. So.
Hmm.
All right, so the next two games I think are mainly yours. I mean, like I could chime in a little bit on Beyond Good and Evil 2,
Yeah.
but South Park I'm not really all that interested in. So,
I say yeah. So South Park, they finally I think had a release date. I think it was like October. October 17th, which is good because this game has been delayed like twice, like pretty big, and that's probably due to rewrites due to the election because that's a big part of it. That's
hmm
probably why they had to rewrite a lot of stuff about this game. But in terms of gameplay itself, again, it does look a lot better. The gameplay-wise, it looks a lot better than Stick of Truth, where Stick of Truth is just a very simple RPG. It played a lot like a Paper Mario game, but it was pretty simple. Um, but yeah, I'm just excited that it came out. You know, it was just a typical South Park trailer. I mostly put it there because I think I already talked about this a few times during the other E3 last year or whatever. But it looks good. You know, I just want the game to come out already because it's been a thing for like 2 years, but just has not coming out yet. And hopefully the delays didn't hurt it, and hopefully it just helped it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. But you know, I not much to talk about that since I already exhausted my what I think about before. So the bombshell for Ubisoft was Beyond Good and Evil 2. I've never played Beyond Good and Evil. I do know what it is like, and this is very different because the game is very M-rated, and
oh
it's not gonna be like a Zelda-y type game like the original one was. This is gonna be an open world sort of go to different planets game, which got a lot of people concerned because we all know how those games do nowadays. But this game, and all they showed was the CG trailer, which looked amazing. It was
yeah,
very, very pretty. But there was no release date. The game's going to be a prequel, which a lot of people are mad because apparently the original one ended with a cliffhanger, which was really big. So a lot of people are upset about that because they waited 15 years for a prequel. And yeah, the game is just surrounded by either people really excited or really just mad at it. So what did you think about this thing?
I was actually completely surprised that they announced a sequel to this beloved game, and the fact that they had the balls to make it a prequel was also interesting. And they're changing the whole gameplay style too. Like this is definitely a recipe for disaster, but it could also be a recipe for success. So I think we're just gonna have to wait and see, you know, what actual gameplay this game looks like. Like I have no experience with Beyond Good and Evil, but I definitely want to go in and play the first game. You know, like hunt down for a copy, then play it. But yeah, this game definitely does have a cult following, and I could definitely understand what it's like to, you know, get a new game from a dead series from a long, long time ago. So.
Yeah, when Psychonauts 2 got fucking announced, I lost it. My voice got shot for the next day. I screamed so hard when I saw Psychonauts 2. But I'm pretty sure it was the same way with these guys with Beyond Good and Evil 2. So I'm always glad to see a dead IP get revived. But I don't know if this is how they wanted it to be revived, you know?
Yeah.
It's just such a different game from the original one. So I don't know. Hopefully it's good and those people get what they wanted. But yeah, that's basically all.
Just literally just have to wait and see. So
yeah. All right. So next was the PC gaming show, which was pretty uneventful, but there were some cool indie games that came out of it. So Ooblets, which is basically just Stardew Valley, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing, is coming out in like 2017 on Steam, and it looks very nice. Like you basically instead of like growing crops, you like grow basically Pokemon, and you can like take them out and fight other people. It also has a very nice art style. It's very cute looking, and I actually been following this game for a bit. It's been in development for a while, and it just looks cool. I really do like that Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing type things, and with an actual combat system. And hopefully that combat system is good. It could be a really fun game. Because I sunk like 20 hours into Stardew Valley, and I'm pretty sure I could put more if I actually play a lot more of it. But I am pretty excited for those for that game because I do like those type of games. And the one thing Stardew Valley is really missing is like sort of like a combat system. So I feel like if that game could address that, that could be really, really, really addicting. And next they showed Tunic, which is sort of like this weird looking Zelda, but you're like a fox. And the combat looks like it's from Dark Souls, but like overhead. It's very weird looking, but again, it has a very nice looking art style and like some really good music too. And the combat looks like it flows very nicely. Like it's a lot more fast paced than a Dark Souls game because I know a lot of games are taken from Dark Souls in terms of combat, which could get a little annoying because the Dark Souls type of combat is very slow. But this game looks like it is more sped up with that sort of combat. It just looks very nice and pleasant. Like it just looks good. You know, I'm always down for another like Zelda type game from an indie developer, and you know, it looks like we're getting that. And next is Griftlands, which is a game by Clay, which is the same people who made Don't Starve Together and the new game Oxygen Not Included. Mm-hmm. They have a very nice art style as well, which is just a theme with these games because they'll look really good.
Yeah.
But this game is supposed to be sort of like a turn-based RPG with a lot of negotiation and talking, which I'm down with because I just like that sort of like dialogue sort of system with negotiation stuff. So you can like negotiate with people if they want to be in your party or they want to do other stuff. And when the gameplay actually starts, it turns into like a turn-based RPG. We don't really know too much about it, but those developers are really good. I really like Don't Starve. I think that game is great, and the art style is just fantastic. So yeah, I'm pretty happy for that game. That game looks pretty good. But that's about it for the PC gaming show. They didn't really show much else. It was mostly just like a waste of time. But those games are good. Yeah. So I'm glad I saw those games. Mostly indie games. So.
I didn't watch the PC gaming show, so. Got not much to say, but let's get into Bethesda because we actually did watch this together, and
we did watch it together, and it sucked. So.
Yeah, it was pretty uneventful. I mean, like Skyrim,
Paid mods,
more Skyrim, VR stuff, and then Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, so basically they showed Doom VR, Fallout VR, Elder Scrolls Online. They showed Evil Within 2, which is a new game. Evil Within was pretty okay. The Skyrim for Switch they showed. The Creator Club, which got a lot of hate because it's basically paid for mods. And a lot of people are against that. Yeah, and I didn't even catch it because when we were watching it live, I was just dozing out.
Yeah,
but
same.
I went to watch it again. I'm like, what are people talking about paid for mods? I don't remember that. Then I went back. I'm like, oh, it is just paid for mods. So yeah, that's bad. They showed Elder Scrolls Legends, which again, this is their card game. Quake Champions, which they didn't really show anything new of. They showed new DLC for Dishonored 2, and then they showed Wolfenstein 2, which is the most interesting thing of that show, which was at the end. So basically, it's just like more Wolfenstein, which the New Order, which came out I think in 2015, and just looks more of that, just with more emphasis on story and stuff. If the Nazis won World War II, which I think is pretty cool. I think the game looks pretty good. And I think it would do well, obviously, because, you know, I think the first game was really well received and it spawned basically Doom and everything else that came out. So, yeah, I think the second one would be just as good. But was it worth watching the whole thing for that? No.
No.
Because it was really bad.
Such a waste of time.
And they probably had the worst conference. They didn't really need one because showed that in, like, Microsoft or Sony's press conferences. But whatever. It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to add anything else to
No, I'm good.
All right, so let's move on to PlayStation.
PlayStation. I think a lot of people hype this conference up just because of what they did last year, but my expectations for this conference were pretty much let's get updates on all those games you announced last year, and they did do that. So, but there weren't that many surprises, which I think disappointed a lot of people. But there was one in here that I think you'll love and talk about later, but. Let's first, I guess, Uncharted Lost Legacy, you know, they just showed more of it. They got into the story.
Audio.
Oh, yeah, no audio for, like, the first part of it, so I actually didn't know what the hell they were saying. I believe I rewatched the trailer afterwards, but, you know, I'm not trying to get myself into that game as much as I probably should, but, you know, it's like a Uncharted spin-off game. I'm not really that interested in it, so... but it's slated for August 22nd still. And then one of the surprises is Shadow of the Colossus. It is slated for
It's a remake, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a complete remake and stuff like that. So it's slated for 2018. The game looks beautiful. It looks fantastic. And like when they remade it for the PS3, like it didn't look that much better, like at all.
Well, yeah, it was a remaster. This game is a remake.
Yeah.
And it looks fantastic. Like the Colossus look really good. So like maybe I might actually play Shadows of the Colossus with this new one coming out.
Mm-hmm. And then Days Gone, which it didn't do much different from a lot of other, zombie games that are already out. Like The Last of Us already kind of does what they did within this trailer, which was like cause a distraction from the zombies or whatever. But like Days Gone is doing something different, and I don't think The Last of Us ever did this. Maybe in the DLC like story, but there were never points within the story where the clickers and the humans collided. So in this game, Days Gone, the zombies, whatever they're called, they actually did a situation where you force the zombies towards the other people. So I thought that was a pretty good idea. So we still don't know when the hell this game's going to come out. I'm assuming 2018. So, but yeah, and then I'll let you talk about the next game.
All right, so Monster Hunter World is coming out in 2018 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, which is very interesting. But basically, it's just a really good-looking Monster Hunter, and I think Capcom is trying to appeal the game more to a Western audience by making the game a lot more action-oriented instead of being more methodical with the way you hunt monsters and stuff in the actual Monster Hunter games. So I think the spin-off is supposed to be like, hey, you want more like combat-based things and more fast-paced Monster Hunter? Here you go. And obviously the first thing that you notice is the game just looks so good. Monster Hunter has always looked like garbage because it's always been on like 3DS and stuff.
And like
but
PS Vita.
Yeah. So this is like the first time it's really in like HD. Like it just looks really good. And it just looks nice. Like I'm pretty happy because Monster Hunter is going to be on PC, which is cool. And I really like it. So yeah, I mean, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Yeah, it's not gonna be on Switch though, and I don't know if they're still gonna port Monster Hunter XX onto.
They have
Switch
yet to confirm or deny it, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
And I hope they still do because I still want a Monster Hunter on my Switch. But if this is going on PC, that's totally okay with me. I'm fine with that.
And then the next game was God of War. I believe they're sticking with that title, just God of War. But now it's on the PS4, and now it's a new mythology and stuff like that. So they showed a lot more gameplay, and it still looks like the good old God of War hack and slash fun. So it's slated for early 2018, so that's good. It's not going to be like later within the year, I guess. So hopefully during the PlayStation Experience we get an official release date, hopefully, because like the PlayStation Experience is on December 21st or something like that. Like it's definitely towards the end of the year, so maybe we'll get more details on that. I'm not exactly sure. And then Sony surprisingly closed the show out with Spider-Man. Like the show was pretty quick, I think. Maybe
it was fast.
Maybe that's because we were too distracted with the audio issues and other stuff, but they decided to show Spider-Man last, and it was a pretty good, I guess, gameplay demonstration. A lot of the parts that look scripted, you actually could like mess up. So like the bit where he went through that billboard, you could actually just completely avoid that. So yeah, like certain parts look scripted, but they're actually not. So
yeah, apparently, I forgot who. I think Insomniac made the statement saying that there was a lot of QTEs in that one moment of gameplay is because certain moments are supposed to be more cinematic, obviously, but they say during most of the gameplay is going to be mostly just web slinging and like beating people up and not as much QTE events, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that because in this trailer there was a gameplay segment, there was a lot of QTEs in it.
Yeah.
And I think QTEs are an okay way of doing like sort of like interactive sort of moments, while still try to be cinematic, but they do wear thin like pretty quickly.
They don't make the gaming experience feel like a gaming experience at that point. You're just pushing buttons at the right time.
Yeah.
So.
And again, I do think the game looks great though. Like it still
the game looks fantastic, definitely. Yeah. So. I just cannot wait for that game to come out. Obviously, it's still 2018. We don't know when, but when that game does come out, I will definitely be buying that day one. No matter what. Just because it's Insomniac and PlayStation and Spider-Man. I meant, you know, like
Yeah,
those two. Like it just looks like it's gonna be a great game. So, and it won a lot of awards at E3 too. So,
that's good.
yeah. So now let's get into Nintendo, which only had 25 minutes to work with, but even then, you know, they still surprised us with a lot of Switch stuff. So I guess we'll talk about these two at once. Kirby and Yoshi are announced for the Switch for a 2018 release, and I guess we'll talk about Kirby first. So Kirby.
Yeah, so it's basically Kirby on Switch. They're bringing back the like ability combinations that you could have done in Kirby 64, which is cool because that was like one of my favorite things about Kirby 64 was that you could combine abilities together and get a totally different thing. And I'm really happy to see that coming back because that is a very interesting mechanic to a very simple game. And I know a lot of people are mad that Kirby is getting yet another game, but you have to keep in mind that he doesn't really get a lot of console games. And now that the 3DS is sort of getting phased away for a Switch, we're probably going to see a lot of Kirby games on Switch. But I'm happy that he's getting
I
another console game.
think it's like his anniversary this year or something like
It
that.
is his anniversary as well, yeah. So it was no brainer he was going to get another game. So yeah, I'm excited. You know, it's Kirby. I really like Kirby. It's very simple, very fun games. I know people get sick of him, and he does get a lot of games nowadays. But I'm excited.
I mean, like, there's
fun.
simple platformers that are super fun to play through, so I don't
Yeah.
mind.
And they're bringing back I think you do 4-player co-op like the other games. So
That's cool.
nothing new there. Again, just another Kirby game.
And then the Yoshi game, it's doing something completely different from Woolly World. I think it has like 2 ways to play the level or something like that. Like, I believe there's like 2 levels to a certain level or something like that.
Okay.
So like you're in the front, and then there's another section within the back of the level, and like they showed it nicely within the treehouse gameplay demonstration, I guess. And yeah, like the game just looks really fun, and I cannot wait for it. You know, I honestly did not think that they would make another Yoshi game, just because I didn't think Woolly World did as well. But maybe the 3DS sales helped, or maybe I'm just not looking at it right. But yeah, a new Yoshi game. Very excited for it. Hopefully we don't have to wait as long as we did for Woolly World, you know, where it just disappeared out of nowhere. So
Yeah.
and then the Pokemon guys came out of nowhere and announced a new RPG on the Switch. So
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. He says it's not going to be until like a year though, so we're going to have to wait a bit. But it was I think they did say this because of all the backlash they got during that Pokemon
yeah, probably.
Because a lot of people were mad that we weren't getting a Switch game. And it's pretty obvious that they were making a Switch game, but they just want to say, hey, we're making a Switch game, just wait like a year, okay? That's why we're releasing Ultra Sun and Moon, just to hold you off for that year. So, yeah, we're getting a new Pokemon RPG. I don't know if it's going to be a new generation or a remake of, like, Gen 4, because, you know, still got to do that.
Yeah.
But it is coming on Switch, so that's very exciting, and it's going to be, like, the first actual Pokemon game, core Pokemon game.
On a console.
RPG on a console, because, you know, Coliseum and XD were more spin-off-y type things than actual core games, so that's very cool. I like that a lot. And next, they do the big bombshell, which is Metroid Prime 4. They just showed 4 and then Metroid Prime, and everyone freaked out.
Yeah.
There was no gameplay. There's no release date. It's just it's coming. Wait for it.
All right,
so basically the same thing they did with Pokemon.
Yeah. I guess we could spend some time on this. So a lot of people freaked out over this on Twitter. I've seen some live reactions, like the people at the Nintendo New York store. Like everyone was freaking out. Even like the guy in the Mario costume, like he was doing like, I guess, postures where it looked like that he was like, oh shit. So like, yeah, this game is definitely hyped up. A lot of people are very happy that this game was announced. But obviously, you know, details afterwards came out that this is now being developed by Retro Studios. I think it's an in-house developer.
It's an in-house developer, yes.
So some people are worried about that. But honestly, if it's an in-house developer, I don't think Nintendo would let this go down. You know, like...
Yeah, also remember that the original Metroid Prime had a lot of Nintendo people as well as Retro people, because Miyamoto was very involved in the first Metroid Prime. And the first Metroid Prime is regarded as the best Metroid Prime. So I think they're fine. I think they know how to make a Metroid Prime game.
Yeah.
It's just that, but we still don't know what Retro's doing. They're just gone.
Yeah, we still don't know what the hell Retro Studios is doing. Maybe they're just not working on anything, you know. But Metroid Prime 4, I think a lot of people are just very excited about it. You know, the fact that they are making it, the fact that we know that they are making it, and people don't have to speculate anymore. But I think the reason people are so concerned is because, you know, what happened with Star Fox Zero, I think. You know, that game came out and it just did not do as well as it
I
should
think
have.
the reason why that game didn't do well was because they focused too much on the gimmicks on that game. And this, for Metroid Prime, like the Switch itself is just not that gimmicky. Like you sort of have the Joy-Con motion controls, but with most games you could just say nah.
Yeah.
you could just
Like
use
with
a regular
ARMS.
controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, with ARMS, the game just plays better with a controller. So I'm pretty sure like the Switch is just not a very gimmicky thing. Like yeah, you could take it out and play as a portable system, but that's about it. So I think Metroid Prime 4 is just gonna be a good game, just like the other three. So I have faith in it. Even though we didn't see any gameplay, I think people know what a Metroid Prime game is. So people, you know, I think it's pretty okay to be hyped for it. Like
Yeah.
and most of the time Nintendo always delivers. I think the only time they didn't deliver was Star Fox Zero, and that's about it. Like most of the time they do deliver.
And
well,
also, I believe that was an in-house developer. I believe Platinum worked on it.
Platinum made it, yeah, but they don't know how to make those type of games. Let them stick to their beat 'em ups and stuff, or spectacle fighters.
Yeah.
But they also not to skip Mario Odyssey here, but they also did announce another Metroid game.
Oh my god, that was such a surprise. I was just watching the Treehouse and I was like, we're just gonna announce something here, and then they announced Metroid Samus Returns, and I was like, holy shit, this game actually looks good. Woof, woof.
Yeah.
The game actually looks really good. I already pre-ordered it, honestly.
You pre-ordered it?
Yeah, I actually pre-ordered it.
The game looks really good, and it is a remake of Metroid 2, which is probably why they did the DMCA takedown on AMR2.
I think that's why Nintendo doesn't like the idea of like remakes from fans, because they're like, wait, we could do that eventually. But maybe when they did take down ASMR 2, they were already working on it, because like this game's coming out September 15th. It's so soon. So they were
definitely developing it while that.
They definitely had this game in the works for a while now. So yeah, it just looks awesome. The fact that they announced it during the Treehouse and then they immediately started showing it off during the Treehouse, you know, like the game just looks like a lot of fun. And
yeah, and I like they took some things from Other M, even though a lot of people don't like Other M. They did take some of the good things, like that close quarter combat where you could knock an enemy and then shoot them.
That counter ability looks so good.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they didn't just ignore the good things about Other M, because I know Other M was pretty bad. We also had some good stuff in it too, so I'm glad this game took it from that. So yeah, it looked good. It looks really good.
Yeah. All right, so now let's just get into Mario Odyssey real quick. Okay, or should we tackle Xenoblade and Fire Emblem?
I guess we could do those two because they came before anyway. Yeah. So Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Again, I'm still excited for it, but the voice acting is really bad. I don't know what happened there. Like, it's weird because the first game, while the voice acting could be a little cheesy, it was still really good. Like, I think everyone delivered their lines really well, and it had like the different accents because everyone was British. In this game, I don't know what's going on, but the voice acting is like real bad. And the art style is fine, but I feel some things are kind of out of proportion, if you know what I mean. Like, that doesn't look right. Like, it just looks weird. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. In terms of gameplay, the game looks good because they did show a lot of gameplay in the Treehouse. And the game does look just like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, just like with a lot more things simplified and to be more convenient, which is nice. But in terms of like the voice acting and stuff and the art style, I'm not too sure. But I'm probably still gonna get it. It's still probably gonna be a great game, but I don't know. I think they just show some really bad examples of voice acting. Same thing with Fire Emblem Warriors. Their voice acting is really bad. But again, the game looks great. I saw the Treehouse for it, and it looks really good. It's the same thing, like, you know, the other Dynasty Warrior games and what's that game? The Zelda one.
Hyrule Warriors.
Oh yeah, Hyrule Warriors. It looks, you know, basically the same thing, just with Fire Emblem characters, which is fine. I think it works better with Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah. The only thing I'm concerned with Xenoblade is that it's still coming out this year.
Yeah, they reconfirmed. This is like the third time they reconfirmed it's coming out 2017. But I think it is gonna come out 2017, but not until like December, like 31st. Like, it's gonna be like the last possible day that's gonna come out 2017.
Literally the last possible moment that they can release it, I feel. So.
Yeah. So, I guess we got to talk about the Mario and Luigi
Yeah.
Superstar Saga, which is also coming out, which is just casually announced in the treehouse. It's like,
Uh-huh.
hey, we got Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and it looks really good. It's just a one-to-one remake of Superstar Saga with the 3DS engine, and it looks really good. Like, I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It looks pretty good. You know, when they announced it, I think it was rumored a while back that they were making a Superstar Saga remake or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it was leaked that it was. So.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they are remaking it, but on top of that, they're adding like this Bowser's Minions thing or whatever. So to those players who want to go and I guess get that little bit of extra story from Superstar Saga or something like that. So I might pick it up. I'm not exactly sure. You know, RPGs are kind of hard for me to handle nowadays, you know, because they just take so much time. So, but I do hope that this Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is good because a lot of the recent Mario RPGs have not been. So, just by them going back to one of the better ones and just remaking it, I just hope that they don't mess it up. So
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. From the gameplay they showed, look, it's just exactly how the original one looks, which is good. I would like to play it again. I did play. I didn't finish it, but I did play a good chunk of it. So
mhm.
I'm excited that they are remaking it. All right, so there's the final game,
Yeah,
Super Mario Odyssey. They finally showed what the game is gonna be like with a
yeah,
really good trailer. And what do
yeah.
you think about it?
Oh my god, man. I was freaking out when I saw Mario throwing his hat at like different objects and stuff like that. Like uh l- the trailer in it of itself was great. You know, like it demonstrated what Mario Odyssey was going to be about like pretty well. And just everything that they showed afterwards within the treehouse and stuff like that, like I'm super excited for this game. I probably should be more excited for it, but you know, like I'm just not that kind of person now, I guess. You know, I just don't get extremely hyped over games. So, you know, I am excited for it. It's slated for October 27th, which I'm surprised about. I
Yeah,
thought it would be like a November game, but I guess they're
same.
releasing it a little bit earlier. So, but yeah, this game definitely
Yeah,
looks really good.
the game looks like it's going to be taking a lot more from 64 and Sunshine rather than the linear style of Galaxy and Galaxy 2, where you
Hmm.
can kind of just like walk in and do whatever and get, moons instead of stars this time. And it just looks good. The game looks fantastic. Like I am very excited for the game. The way you could possess things with your hat is really weird. The game is just
Yeah.
weird. Like the whole the whole
Yeah.
game is just a weird thing. And I'm glad. Like a lot of people just want different things, and the Switch is just that. Like let's just get these games and just make them really different. Like same thing with Breath of the Wild and same thing with this game. They're just totally different from what you're usually used to for these type of games. And I'm glad because these games needed a nice change of pace. 3D
Yeah.
World was good, but it was very, safe. Like it was still like
Yeah, it was
just
super duper safe.
it was basically a 2D Mario game, just sort of 3E. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like not like this. Like this is just like crazy. This is what a lot of people wanted for a while. So I'm glad that's finally coming out and that we get to see a lot of gameplay for it because it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, it's coming out really early. I didn't expect an October release date. I expected like a December or November release date for it. So that's also really exciting.
Hmm.
But besides that, I think that's all Nintendo really showed off.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, they announced a new sushi game for the 3DS, which everyone was
Yeah,
like, what the hell?
but it's like, why?
Yeah, like, who asked for that? But, I mean, it didn't look that bad. Like, come on, so.
Yeah, I guess, but still, like, who cares? I mean, I think out of all the press conferences, Nintendo probably had the best one. I'll probably say Nintendo, then like
Microsoft.
Microsoft, and then Ubisoft, Sony, and then like Bethesda,
Man.
like really in the bottom. But
Yeah.
again, it wasn't the best E3. I think Nintendo really did save it because I was pretty hyped during that whole day. I was just pretty like excited.
Yeah.
They did really save this E3. Like I got
Yeah.
super
Two
pumped. And
Metroid games? Whoa.
yeah, and I was not expecting anything from Nintendo at all. I was so ready to be disappointed because I'm like,
Yeah.
what are they going to show in 25 minutes? And they
Yeah,
just
what the
blew
hell's
my mind.
25 minutes gonna do? And then they showed off a lot. And then even afterwards, you know, they just
Yeah, it
announced
was the Treehouse.
a bunch of 3DS games for the Treehouse, which I think was a smart move by them. Because like
Yes.
if they did 3DS stuff during the spotlight, people are like, this is a waste of time. So I'm glad that they knew that and they took the right action and just kept the spotlight as Switch only because you know they want to sell more Switches once they make more of them because they are going to. So
Yes.
yeah.
I overall I think the E3 was, this whole E3 was just okay. I think Nintendo really did save it this year,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good because Nintendo didn't really have a good E3 in a bit. So I'm glad that they could
Yeah.
have a good one again.
I think the
So
last two E3s have not been all that great, honestly. So
no,
because
yeah,
like
the last two,
they were just trying to hide the Switch stuff. Like they have
yeah,
not announced the Switch yet, and then when they did announce it earlier this year, now they have stuff to talk about and announce. So I'm glad that they are, just making consistent games for the Switch now. So
yeah.
all right, so that is it from us during the Two Players Podcast episode 36. Thank you guys for listening once again, and we'll see you guys 2 weeks from now with the next episode.
Later.